I'm going to guess that this company's name is pronounced WiiM. I don't. Maybe I should have looked it up to see how it's pronounced, but it's spelled WiiM. So like the Nintendo Wii with an M at the end. So I'm going with WiiM.
No, but it's a big M.
It is a big M. So maybe it's WiiM. I don't know. Either way, I don't like it. But the product, maybe I do like it. This sounds like a cool product. So WiiM or WiiM, I'm just going to go with WiiM, has been producing some whole home audio type devices. Think of WiiM as sort of a Sonos competitor, except that they don't make speakers. They make things that allow you to do whole home audio through streaming services and through your own connected audio devices. The one that they always talk about are record players. Kind of makes sense. That's the trendy thing nowadays. And so they've got a new device that is called the WiiM Amp. And if you're familiar with the Sonos ecosystem, this is closest to the Sonos Amp. It is a small box that looks a whole lot like an Apple TV, and except it's got a big volume knob on the front of it. On the back, it's got a bunch of audio inputs and outputs, which most specifically, what kind of separates this apart from some of their other product devices is it has direct speaker terminal outputs because it also has a built-in amplifier. So you would take regular passive speakers, connect them to this. There is also a coax subwoofer output also on this, so you can do a full 2.1 setup on this. And then you can plug other audio sources into this, whether that be your record player using the RCA jacks, but it does also have optical and HDMI with ARC, but not eARC. And then you can play that music through these speakers, but because all of the WiiM devices are part of a multi-room audio setup, you could have multiples of these throughout your house or some of their other devices. And while you could certainly use Spotify or something through all of these, because you can also connect other audio devices to it as inputs, you could connect your record player to one of these and then have the music from your record player broadcast all around your house using something like this. The amplifier itself, it's about 60 watts per channel, so it's not as powerful as the Sonos amp, but let's be honest, 60 watts per channel, probably good enough for most speakers that you're going to plug this into. I think because this is probably a brand that most people have maybe never heard of before, it's probably worth pointing out that they do what these other two devices are that I'm talking about. It's the WiiM Pro and Pro Plus. I'm just going to call them the WiiM Pro because the only real difference between these two devices is that the Pro Plus has higher quality components in it. You'll get better sound from it. But the WiiM Pro, it's designed, like it still has inputs, although I don't think they have the HDMI input. But they're designed to be plugged into powered speakers or, in most cases, probably an AVR. So if you've got a, $500 or more AVR that for some reason doesn't have the ability to do, I guess really the streaming services, but also primarily doesn't have the ability to do multi-room audio, you could plug one of these into it, use the WiiM app, or other things like AirPlay, Chromecast, all of that, and get all of this through your whole home. Again, these also support AirPlay, Chromecast, Spotify Connect, Titles Connect service. So you can also use these to pair together through, and Amazon's Echo services. So you can use these in pretty much any possible way you can think of for achieving multi-room, whole home audio. And the perhaps the biggest differentiator between this and Sonos is the price. This WiiM Amp device that is the new device here is $299. The Sonos Amp is $699. And all it seems like it gets you over this is a more powerful amp and the Sonos ecosystem, which is
Right.
like, and that's nothing to sneeze at. The Sonos ecosystem is good. But if you didn't want to jump into the Sonos ecosystem, this seems like a decent competitor.
Yeah, it really does. I'd never heard of this brand, so I fall into that group you described, Josh. This is a slick looking device. I think it looks a lot like a Mac Mini, actually. It has that kind of aluminum feel to it or look to it, but it does have a physical knob on the front for the volume. The inputs are impressive, but what's notably missing here, Josh? How about just like a regular, what is it, 3.5 millimeter plug? Like just a standard mini jack is missing. And I'm kind of surprised by that because that's so common as an input source to these types of devices. But in terms of streaming input, geez, it supports everything, even DLNA. Who still supports DLNA?
Right. You know, that's hilarious that you bring up DLNA because I have no idea why, but just randomly, I turned on my LG TV today, hit the input button because I needed to switch over to the Shield from the Xbox. And I was like, I forgot that the HD home run shows up in here as a DLNA device. I wonder what that experience looks like on my LG TV.
Probably awful.
Yeah, it wasn't great. But that's the first time I've used DLNA in many years.
Yeah, right. Exactly. You mentioned AirPlay. It's AirPlay 2, which is great because that means it's the type that supports multi-room audio and can do multi-room audio with discongruous, is that the right word? With devices from different manufacturers. So it doesn't really matter what speaker you have. If they support AirPlay 2, they can all play together in a group, which is really, really cool.
Yeah, exactly. So if you've already got, if you're already somewhat into one of these other ecosystems, like you've got some of the Apple AirPods, or maybe you've got Echoes or Google Assistant devices, and you're like, I really want speakers for the deck, but I don't have a good way of doing this. This is how you do it. And it would work with any of those other ecosystems. So these still feel expensive to me. Like $300 for an amp still feels like a lot to me, but you're getting a lot for your money here.
Yeah, exactly. It doesn't feel like a lot to me because I'm so used to Sonos prices.
Right. But, I know that I could buy like a $60 amp and a $50 Raspberry Pi and hack something together.
Yep.
But it would be hacked together and it wouldn't be great. And it wouldn't probably support all of this. So you get what you pay for in a lot of situations. So that is the WiiM Amp. Again, if you've never heard of this and you're listening in your car and you want to check this out, head on over to the website for the show notes, and we've got links to everything we're talking about. So